Good morning, class 8. Welcome to our science class. And I want to take you through revision and area of concern. It is breathing system, class 5. Previously, we looked at the digestive system. I'm handling human body, and I want to deal with this topic across the board from class 5 all the way to class 8. So here, we want to look at the breathing system. Before we go to system, we need to define what is breathing. What is breathing, class? We define breathing as a process of taking in clean and fresh air and at the same time taking out unwanted air. Now, breathing being a system, this means that it has got some parts, comprised of parts. We need to list these parts. The first part of breathing system we have nose. Second part of breathing system we have the trachea. The name for trachea is known as what? Windpipe. Number 3 after trachea, we go to bronchus or bronchi. Then number 4, we go to the bronchioles. Number 5, we have air sacs. Time also known as what? Alveoli. Number 6, we have lungs. And then number 7, we do have what we call diaphragm. These are the part of breathing system. Nose is the first part, and you need to arrange them in order how they flow. When you start breathing, you start by taking in air through the nose, and that air goes into the lungs through the tracheas, bronchus, bronchioles, and then reaches the air sacs. Let us discuss each part. To start with, we want to look at nose. We define nose as the first part of breathing system, the part that takes in air from atmosphere into our body. The nose is modified or adapted to breathing system by having the following features. Number 1, we say nose has got hair. What is the function of hair found in the nose? When you put your finger or when you insert your finger inside your nostril, you'll find that you have some hair there inside. This hairing plays a crucial part when you're coming to air cleaning. So the function of the hair in the nose is just to clean, to trap dust, from air, and then again we have mucus. What is the function of mucus found in the nose? The function of mucus here, mucus helps to clean air, just like hair. It helps to warm air, and mucus also helps to moisten air. Having talked about that, this is the first part. I want majorly to focus on the function played by the nose in breathing. Nose play function of trapping. In short, we can say nose simply clean air, so that what is taken in, it is something that is clean and fresh. Then number 2, the second part, we do have what we call the trachea. Trachea is also known as trachea is also known as windpipe. What is the function of trachea? Trachea plays the same function similarly to nose. Trachea, we say, has got the same function just like the one witnessed in the first part. We say it has got tiny hairs, and it has got also mucus. What are the functions of tiny hair and mucus found in trachea? The function of tiny hair and mucus just do it. It is just to trap dust and germs that may be in air breathed in. trap dust and germs. And again, when you look at the trachea, or the windpipe, it has got a certain shape. It has got a certain shape. This is how it is. This shape we call it, it has got C-shaped rings. This is the trachea. It has got these C-shaped rings. These C-shaped rings, how do you call them? We call them the cartilages. What are the functions of cartilages or the C-shaped rings found in trachea? These cartilages help to keep trachea always open. It needs to be open because it's a pipe allowing air to get into our body. Without air in our body, one will suffocate. So to avoid that, the trachea needs to be open throughout. And if you are keeping trachea open, you are preventing or avoiding what you call collapsing of the trachea. So as trachea goes down into the chest cavity, it breaks into two branches, entering each lungs. Remember, we have two lungs, left lung and the right lung. As the trachea comes here in the chest cavity, it breaks into two branches. These branches, how do we call them? We call them the bronchus. That takes us to another part after the trachea. The bronchus. What are the bronchus? Bronchus, these are the branches of trachea. These are the two branches of trachea entering each lungs. Are the two branches of trachea entering each lung. Since when they enter the lungs, when the bronchus enters the lung, it will break into many small branches. Into the lungs, break into small branches. The branch of trachea, the branches of bronchus, give us another part which is called what? The bronchioles. Bronchioles are many branches of bronchus inside the lungs. These are many branches. Bronchus, when it enters the lung, it breaks into so many branches. And these branches what are called the bronchioles. Where the bronchioles located? The bronchioles are located inside the lungs. Then at the end of bronchioles, have what we call air sacs. Air sacs are located immediately at the end of the bronchioles. So at the end of the bronchioles have the air sacs. What is the name of air sacs? Air sacs are also known as what? Alveoli. And what is the function of air sacs? The function of air sac is to finish up the whole process of breathing. What do I mean by finishing up the whole process of breathing? To allow absorption of the gas breathed in or exit of the gases. Function of air sacs, they allow gases exchange. When I talk about exchange of gas, this occurs only in air sacs or alveoli. How the exchange takes place, remember I explained it in class 7. It occurs by the help of blood vessels, and it's particularly we are talking about capillaries. Each organ is supplied by so many capillaries. Capillaries that are one of the blood vessels, we have the blood vessels, we have arteries, we have artery immediately from the heart. You have artery carrying blood from the heart. When the richest organs, artery will break into so many small branches. These small branches are calling capillaries. Then outside the organ, they join together again to form one vessel called vein. So these capillaries are very thin. They are very, when you talk about the thickness of the wall, they are very thin. Why are they thin? To allow extra material. So things carried, in this case now, we are talking about carbon dioxide, carried by, particularly here, artery, we are going to look at pulmonary artery. This is the blood coming from the heart, the lungs, to go and remove carbon dioxide carried here. The very thing, when they reach here, this carbon will diffuse. It moves out of the blood vessel into the lungs through the help of air sacs and taken out. Then the gas that has been breathed in, it is in the air sacs, that is oxygen, it will diffuse into the blood in capillary and then carried into the lung. That's why we say the blood coming, we call it deoxygenated. Then after some time, this blood we call it now oxygenated, going back to the heart, so that it can be pumped to all parts of the body. So this movement of things from the blood into the lungs, then from the lungs into the blood, this is oxygen and this is carbon. This is what I'm calling the exchange of gases. Where does it take place? Take place in air sacs. That is air sacs. Then after air sacs, we go to diaphragm. What is diaphragm? We define diaphragm as a sheet of muscle separating chest from the abdomen. So what is the function of diaphragm? Where is diaphragm located? This is my diaphragm, the sheet of muscle that is here. What is the function of this thing? It helps or allows lungs to expand and relax. So having talked about that, having described these parts, now we know them. We have just reminded yourself, we want to look at the two processes involved in breathing. When you are breathing, you are taking in, and the same time you are taking out. The two processes combined together is what we are calling breathing. You are taking in clean and fresh air, in short, air that is needed in the body, and at the same time you are taking unwanted air that is not needed in the body. So the process of taking in air, how do you call it? The process of taking in air, we call it, the process of taking in air is called inhalation. You are inhaling in. And the process of taking out air is called what? Exhalation. So now we want to look at what happens to this part, the part that I have named, when we are breathing in and when we are breathing out. To work out comfortably, I'll have a table, short table. Let me sketch mine here due to time. I'll have to sketch. Number one, let's start with diaphragm. What happens to diaphragm when I'm breathing in? When I'm breathing in, you'll discover that diaphragm will move downwards. It moves downwards. And if it moves downward, then what happens? It flattens. When I'm breathing out, it's the reverse of this. It moves down. Here, it moves upwards. Or it curves upward. It flattens. Remember, this is the shape of diaphragm. Diaphragm is something with that shape. Okay, so when you're pushing it down, it flattens. When you're pushing up, it forms a shape like this one. And this one, we call it what? Dome shape. Move upward, forming dome shape. That is all about diaphragm. Next part, we have lungs. What happens to the lungs? What happens to the lungs when you're breathing in? Lungs take lungs to be balloons. What happens to balloon when you are putting air inside it? What happens? It does what? Number one, inflate. Number two, what happens to lungs? They expand when you're breathing in. Expand, what does it mean? Increases in size. And when you're breathing out, it will be a reverse of this. It will be an opposite of what I have stated here. It will deflect. Expanding, it will do what? Contract. Or instead of contract here, it will shrink. Increase in size here, it will do what? Decrease in size. And then you go to ribs. What happened to ribs? What happened to ribs when one is breathing in? The ribs moves upwards. Upwards and outwards. And when you're breathing out, the ribs moves downwards and inwards. Then lastly, we go to air pressure in the chest cavity. What happens to air pressure in the chest cavity when you're breathing in? What happens to pressure when you're breathing in? When you're breathing in, pressure in the chest cavity decreases. It decreases to allow in air. For example, you want to inflate a balloon. For you to inflate it very well and you are holding it in your hand like this, you will have to reduce pressure. For you, if you put more pressure, then it won't inflate the way you expect it to inflate. So you'll have to decrease pressure to allow air in. And when you're breathing out, you are taking air out of the balloon. You want the balloon to deflate. What will happen? You'll have to increase pressure to allow air comes out. The pressure does what? The pressure increases. That is it, class 8. I'll have to leave you with some few questions here on the blackboard for you to attempt them. Number 1. What is breathing? Name 2 gases involved in breathing. Number 3, explain what happened. To the lungs and ribs during air breathing in, breathing out. Number 4, dust particles and germs attract the dash and dash. Number 5, sketch human breathing system. Number 6, you name part of the breathing system that have A, air, B, mucus. Number 7, explain how nose is adapted to breathing. Number 8, you state uses of gases involved in breathing to plants. You have 2 gases here. You state the function of each to plants. Number 10, you write the percentage. That is it, class 8. Go through these questions and answer them accordingly. Be blessed. Have a good day.